By the time this review comes out, either Thunderbolts just premiered or is about to, or it's been a couple weeks afterward effect. The rate that we're going, the rate that I'm going, in the sense of editing these videos that we're doing, takes a little time. But I want to take a look back at one of the series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that came out on Disney Plus in 2021. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, 4 years.
I had not watched it since it came out, and I wanted to, but I've just been so busy. I know you watched it recently.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go by memory. You're gonna go by, well, memory as well, but you're a little more refresher than mine. Is there a catchphrase for this one?
Uh,
They killed Lamar.
Uh,
It's their fault.
huh?
They killed Lamar.
I don't think it's a catchphrase, but we'll use it. Welcome back to A Tales of Two Bros. My name is Angel,
I'm a Don.
where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert. Are you familiar with Thunderbolts series?
In the comics?
Yes.
Yes. And the whole idea that they're called the Thunderbolts is because they were founded by General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And it's basically the idea of the original group was like a bunch of supervillains that were renamed with alternate
Mhm.
superhero names.
Right.
It's basically Marvel's version of Suicide Squad or Task Force X.
Right. But for me, it's like from the previews like that, it doesn't really make sense of how they're doing it or making this the Thunderbolts team. I understand some of the characters do join the team,
Mhm.
but for the most part, like you said, they're the villains disguised as heroes trying to like work off some of their sentences and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
let's go into here. The genesis of the Thunderbolts happens in the show
Yeah.
with the US agent, or later becomes the US agent, John Walker.
Bucky Barnes.
You have Bucky, Barnes, Val.
Mhm.
I'm just interested in seeing how they'll play the Thunderbolts, the title, since of what just happened in Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah.
In the comics, it wasn't like that. It was a little Thunderbolts happened before he became the Red Hulk.
True.
Anyway, how many episodes was this again?
6.
6 episodes, about an hour long. Well, let's be real. It's probably like 30 minutes of show and like 20 minutes of credit.
Yeah, this was like the early Disney
I
Plus
mean,
series.
right. It wasn't as bad as WandaVision. WandaVision would give you like 20 minutes of show and 30 minutes of freaking credits, which was like, you got to be kidding me.
Fair enough.
But yes, from what I remembered, I love this series. One of the few home runs.
Mhm.
They bring in new characters. You're bringing in old characters as well from other films like Civil War. You have Baron Zemo. He's in that. Oh, you also have Rhodes. He's in it. He's in the beginning of the first episode.
Well, yeah, you have Rhodes, Aoi, Aoi,
Black
Oye,
Panther.
Oye? Oh, I can't pronounce her name.
They.
It's AYO.
All right.
There's also Sharon Carter.
Uh,
I'd say that name.
yeah.
And Batroc.
Yes, George
Mhm.
St. Pierre makes a return here, which was great for me. I mean, I love George St. Pierre. I love how he plays. That truck is great. Did you enjoy the show?
I did enjoy the show. Funny enough, like the second or third time rewatching it, still enjoyable. Still enjoyable. Granted, you see some of the curveballs coming that you weren't there before, so it doesn't hit you with some of the surprises. But
Right.
like for me, I get some kind of enjoyment for watching it from a different perspective. Once I know the surprise, I look at it in a different perspective, and if it's done right,
Okay.
it's still enjoyable. And to me, I think it was. I think it was done right in a lot of ways.
Done really well. It gave a different feel. It still followed the trope of like of Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, in a sense like espionage kind of approach. But then you have another approach, which I always love. I love the approach of someone new taking over the mantle.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a fan of comic books, I'm tired of having the same guy or person, female, male, what have you, playing the same role for 50 years or more. They don't age, even though technology does and stuff like that. And we age, we die.
They just
There's
reset
no,
the universe just to keep them the same age or something like that.
sometimes they do. Sometimes they reset it as Infinity War or multiverse, what have you. Not Infinity War, it was Infinity Crisis of multiple
Yeah.
worlds, like in or Earths in DC. But here you have like Steve Rogers is gone. It's not that he's dead, he's gone. He retired. He's aged. Even if he's from the same timeline or different world, what have you. We saw it at the end of Endgame, he hands over the shield.
Yeah.
And it's a new shield, it's a different shield. It's not the same shield that was like broken down or what have you. It's more of an updated shield version of which I'm not sure of. People on the internet know exactly what shield it was.
Well, it's the shield that Tony Stark repaired.
Oh, was it?
Well, it was it repaired? So it was a shield.
No, because he comes back. He comes back as an old man and gives him the shield.
Yeah, but he had a shield with him.
He did?
Man, now you're gonna make me watch Endgame all over again.
I don't think he did. I don't think
Okay.
the finish is different, and the design's is slightly different. Is but I'm thinking it's like a new material or just a different shield altogether. You know what I'm saying? Because the other one was definitely broken.
It's also possible that Wakanda's got a hold of it.
True. Very true. Or it could be, well, it's not animanium. It's not that. It's not, it's not in the Brave New World. We got that. But took the mantle or took the responsibility, and then he didn't feel worthy of it. Yeah. So he's going through that, and I love that. 'Cause like I said, in DC they did it a few. They did it in Marvel too. With when Cap died, one of many that he died. Bucky took the mantle. Then Sam Wilson took the mantle.
Mhm.
I think Sam took it because like Steve got old, got really old, like that serum ran out and he got really old. So
In the
I
comic?
can't remember. Yeah,
The serum was removed from his system so that he started aging rapidly. So he gave it to Mhm.
right. And in DC, supposedly Batman died, but he traveled in time. That Robin, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, he took over the role. It was him as Batman and Damian Wayne as Robin. And I love what I saw there, the dynamic between the two, and Dick trying to fit in the shoes or the cow, if you will, of what Bruce Wayne did. His mentor, his leader, his father. And then they canceled and they brought Bruce Wayne back, and it was just, oh,
Yeah.
it was-
They were like, he's still alive.
the only creator that I know of that keeps characters dead is from Image Comics, Invincible, Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman.
Yes.
He kills them and they pretty much stay dead, to my knowledge.
True. I mean, there's only in comics, if we're talking about the main franchises, there's only a handful of characters that really truly stay dead. Uncle Ben.
Yeah, right. He does. Well, does he? Well, a clone.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah.
So they never really bring back actual Uncle Ben. He's always like he's either alternate reality or clone or something like that.
Like civilians,
Yeah.
they die.
Yeah, for the most part,
Right.
no one dies in comics.
Yeah, which sucks. But anyway, this is what I loved about that show. This is part of it. And I also love the other part where Bucky is going through therapy. So he's dealing with his past discretions. He was a killer. He was a hired, not really hired. He was just an assassin.
He was like man, like a Manchurian candidate. He was brainwashed.
No, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And you see him trying to fix the past that he's the best he could. What's the warrior, the women warrior of Wakanda, the Shuri?
Yes, the Dora Milaje.
Duramaji, sorry, thank you. They come to help him to go through it again, the sense of the password codes, whatever the trigger his kill switch, whatever.
Correct.
And nice to see it. They evolve,
Yes.
as well.
We never got any use out of White Wolf, but sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, but we also have Bradley, the one of the original Captain Americas.
Yes.
Yeah, Isaiah Bradley, and then his grandson, because he becomes
I think you paid.
the Patriot. I was gonna say Iron Patriot, but that's Osborn with the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers. Anyway, yes, he becomes the Patriot using the original shield. The original shield was the one that has like a heart kind of shape
Yeah. It's more triangular.
before the circle one. Yeah. So he has that shield, but not here. We just see him, and so we don't know if he's going to be as a young Avenger because we've seen it set up with other characters, Hawkeye,
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. So we don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, and that's the thing, like, in the comics, like, he was completely normal and then very similar to, like, a mutant through, like, one specific event that was, like, a stressful event. It triggered the serum inside his DNA that was passed down through the bloodline.
Oh, okay, got you. Now, but also not just that Sam is trying to uphold the mantle, and Bucky trying to correct the past, but they were also blipped.
Yes.
They were gone for 5 years, and they come back. They come back to almost a pretty much a new world. Technology has advanced and all that stuff, and so they're trying to adjust with that as well. Because you see, like Sam dealing with finances,
Mhm.
especially his sister who's took over, who took responsibility when he was gone. And then you have, like I said, the introduction of John Walker, Val, the name of the Thunderbolts. That all comes in. Oh, you have the Flag Smasher.
Yes, which done very differently from what it was in the comic.
Very differently, very different. The guy was like freaking like a black and white version of Batman in the sense of his outfit.
Kind of, yeah.
He had a black cowl, white body, black legs.
Mhm.
I think white arms with black gloves. It's really weird. Instead of him, it's a female.
Well, more like
Role.
it's an organization, like a terrorist cell.
Right.
And then it just so happens that the
Yes.
Carly is the character, decides to is the one leading the cell of Flag Smashers. So it's not one individual, it's a group of individuals that get
Well, no,
for sure.
same thing in the comic. Yeah, but same thing in the comic with the Flag Smasher. Even though there was one guy as the face, he had an army. There were terrorists. There were terrorists.
There was only one that he was the only one that had like a super soldier serum in him.
Right.
Which,
Right.
let's be honest, super soldier serum in Marvel Comics is like the Village Bicycle. It's just been through everything.
Apparently now, before it was like a rarity, but now, like, yes.
I mean, the Incredible Hulk is technically a result of the super soldier serum, the Abomination, the Flag Smashers, Bucky Barnes.
You could say even Iron Man too, in the sense like he couldn't get it, but he has an iron suit that pretty much makes him a superhero. You have all these things. I hated Wyatt Russell as Captain America. His first initial look.
Oh,
Him as an actor playing it, great.
yes.
I thought he was great. He did it. He's a great actor. But how he looks, he reminded me of when we see him at the end of episode 1, where he's kind of smiles or grimaces, whatever he does. He looks like the character from Up, the old man, a young version of that.
So, mom, I remember when
Thanks.
mom first watched it, she goes, "I hate him." And, like, as soon as he came on the screen, and this is nothing against Wyatt Russell, because I will say he did a phenomenal job playing as this guy.
Oh,
Well, you can tell this is a character that's supposed to be like he's obsessive, he has issues, but he's also
he's narcissist. He's narcissist.
he's very narcissistic. You ever talk to a narcissist that's trying to you know, try to sway you and they just have a natural shit-eating grin?
Yeah,
That's what he has.
we elected. We elected one.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He's like, he had it perfect. He landed that great portrayal.
What's funny also, like with him, like in the comics, like John Walker and his buddy that became Bucky in that
Mhm.
incarnation, they were wrestlers. They were professional wrestlers
Yeah.
in the comics. And there was some federation that they were used enhanced athletes.
Yes, it was,
Someone like
ran by a power broker.
yes, the power broker. And is that a power broker here? Is that who
Yeah.
they're looking for?
So that was, we find out by the end of the series, the power broker is actually Sharon Carter. In the comics, it's someone else.
Does she say she's a wait a minute, does she say she's a power broker? We don't know who she's talking to.
No, she doesn't say it. Carly does.
When?
Right before Carly dies, she got shot.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you would know that, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, because we don't know, because I thought she could be possibly a scroll.
I
You don't
mean,
know who she's talking to.
that could still be the case.
Right.
But yeah, the whole idea is like she's always running deals. She's always handling things in the background, which was wild to me. Like she's a power broker. Her only supply was that super soldier serum. So I don't know what other powers that she was negotiating.
Well, they said they got access to all, like, or a good portion of the military weaponry or something like that.
Yeah,
Some high tech.
she has supplies to like the helicarrier that collapsed. And,
Mhm.
clearly, they have access to intel information, and they have access to arts and some. I mean, like wondrous wealth. I mean, we get introduced to Madripoor. We were only
Yes.
missing Logan with the one eye patch.
Right. Love what they did, in the sense of how they recreate stuff that we know and they put it into here. They do that very well. They've been doing it well for years, for decades, but it's just good to see that on a show level. Because before this was WandaVision. And to me, that was a horrible production because it was all on a TV lot.
Yeah, I appreciate WandaVision for the attempt, the originality of it,
Mhm.
and the uniqueness of it. And they do have some good Easter eggs. But in this one, more up our alley.
Yes. Now, what do you have a favorite scene or favorite moment?
There are several really good moments. So, like I mentioned
Yes.
at the beginning, like they killed Lamar. So right after Lamar dies, and he goes off his chain. Now, granted, this just shows his mental stability, which like they talk about like how the super serum really just emphasizes who you are more. Instead of targeting Carly, he goes after like a dog with blinders on. He just sees his target, goes after it, and it was a guy who had nothing to do with it. Well, kind of did.
He was the target or the person that fell into his sight.
Yeah, he was just the closest one. And then he uses the shield to
Decapitate him.
in front
And
of
that was like,
every
right, that was my Game of Thrones moment. In Game of Thrones, I was like, and then when got my attention, it was when
the Red Wedding
the imp, he challenged his fathers to the death. He's on trial. I forgot the name he does, but and that leads to Pedro Pascal
in
and
the mountain.
the mountain fight. So, but that moment when he's looking at his father and he calls, "I challenge you to the battle of death," blah 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 blah. That was like woke me up and made me love Game of Thrones.
That was
This is
2
like
seasons in.
right for Game of Thrones is like I was watching, I saw a couple here because the person I was dating at the time was really into it. I was like, okay. But then I said, well, let me watch this. And that was the episode where he just go. I was like, oh shit, I'm watching this now. And then after the season, I went to or between breaks, I would look at the previous seasons. But anyway, I mean, I was loving the show, but when he did that, I loved him, the character.
Yeah,
He became the anti-hero.
correct. And then it leads into the next episode, which is like they're trying to talk him down, and they're like, "You should really give us that shield." He's like, "Oh, I see what's going on. You don't want to do this." He's like, "Yeah, we kind of do." And they end up having like
Yeah.
a three-way fight.
Yes. For me, my favorite moment, because we've talked about this before and how it bothered me, I didn't do it then. Here, he's going through the training how to use the shield.
Yeah,
Sam is. He's learning it and he's trying to get it down. You know, he's using the trees that's protected by mattresses and pads, what have you, to get that ricochet action, to catch it. And he's having trouble. And then Bucky shows up and shows how it's done pretty much. And I'm still like, but how did you learn it? You know, because they didn't really show Captain America, the first Avenger, him training with Bucky or showing how to use it. You're like, "Hey, buddy, look, this is the shield." There's none of that, but we had that here, and I love that moment in the sense of training montage. You know, kind of like Rocky and the Karate Kid. You know, you see them training and you see them getting ready, prepared to do what they need to do. I love those moments.
yeah. Or
You
like
know,
them working on
and
the together to fix the boat.
well,
Like
the banter.
not even the banter. Like the show is trying to duplicate the buddy cop kind of scenario, like
Hmm.
48 hours.
Hmm.
And like for example, like where yes, there's banter between them, but there's moments where like a pipe busts on the boat, and Bucky's like, "Give me the wrench," and he's tightening the wrench, and Sam asks him, "Was like, hey, why didn't you use the arm?" He goes, "Oh, well, I don't really think about it. It's not like my dominant arm." So he's like, "It's just like a part of me."
They have a good chemistry together.
Yes, it's also
That's
pretty
bar
funny
none.
that he hits on his sister.
But I think he does it just to get under his skin.
I think he
Understand?
does it also just to do it anyways, because like his character, even in Captain America, the first one, is a huge flirt. You know, like,
True.
yeah, he's an
Yeah.
incredibly huge flirt.
Well, he also flirted with, or I don't think he really did. He had no intention, but the bartender, the Asian bartender, who was the granddaughter of the patron he became friends with.
I don't think she was the granddaughter. I think she was just the Asian bar. She was just the bartender.
No, they're related.
Oh, I don't remember.
That part I remember. Even when he's not trying to flirt, he's getting hit on.
Yeah,
But that with Sam's sister, he was definitely flirting on, and I think, again, he was just trying to get under his skin just to rattle him up, just to rattle Sam up again, you know, the 'cause they've had that little back and forth since
oh, every
Soldier
like most of their sounds,
or
like
Civil War, excuse me, Civil
the scene where they're with the psychiatrist, the scene where they first meet the
Mhm.
flag smashers and they're jumping out the
Yes,
plane. He's like,
yes.
he's just staring. Does he do that a lot? Yeah, this is a big
And
three:
also,
aliens, robots, and wizards.
That's right. That's right.
He's like,
That's right. Yeah.
I was like, wizards, yeah, like Harry Potter. It's like Harry Potter, and he starts talking. I know what Harry Potter is. Like you do. He's like, it was written. And I know he said Lord of the Rings. He goes, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, it was out before I went to war.
And for me, when he says the wizard, I'm thinking of Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan was a wizard. I don't
Mm.
know, as I described it. But this also brought out a huge meme around the time. Huge meme is Baron Zemo dancing
Oh yes,
at
that.
the club.
Listen, I fell in love with the character of Baron Zemo from this show. Baron Zemo was a great villain for Civil War for just being like a
Mhm,
mastermind, but he was
mhm.
just so charismatic on the show. Turkish delight.
And I heard those things are nasty.
Yes.
It's like gets acquired taste for those who do like it, but for the most part, if you try it out, you're like, "Bleh."
But he's such a great character in the sense like he'll come in doing the dancing, doing the stuff, and then they're like, "You're rich?" He's like, "I was a baron before you crashed my country."
And I love that they like the mask, even though it wasn't needed, I appreciated that he had the mask on
For at least one
for a
point.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, for one scene at the shipyard or whatever the storage area,
Yeah, the shipping containers. Mhm.
the containers. Yeah, he put it on. I mean, I don't know why he put it on because in the movie and then here you didn't need it, but it was cool that he had it on. It was like truly color comic book accurate.
Yeah.
The outfit was not, but the hood was.
The outfit still
Was
works
that?
with it.
Oh, it did, but it's just like that. It was just total fan service. That's what it was. It was just total fan service for us.
I was down for it. Another good moment
Um,
was when the Dora Milaje showed up to tape Baron Zemo. In the middle of a fight, they removed Bucky's arm.
Oh, yes. Remind me of Lethal Weapon 4 when Jet Li disassembles a gun. And they're like,
Mm.
how do they do that?
I thought you were
And
gonna
so it's the same
I
thing.
thought you were gonna quote Kill Bill with a toot 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 toot. Ah.
Oh, the five touch death,
Yeah.
no, five finger death touch. And I mean, I could say very Star Wars, lost a hand, lost an arm. So yeah,
And then George St. Pierre, Batroc, good choice. His fight scenes still good, even though like it's a change of characters and the change of style.
yes,
Because like Sam has to fight differently in order to fight
yes.
Batroc, but it's still pretty good. Still holds
I
up.
mean, another great scene too for me was the intro of the new Captain America.
Mhm. I remember
Identity?
you didn't like the cowl.
No, well, that's the downside I'm going to talk about. But the intro, the way he enters as Captain America is badass.
Yeah.
It is strictly badass, and I love it. But yes, the cow, I hate the cow. Yeah, he hated it too.
Well, because they had the cowl, but they
After
basically had to CGI the cowl every time.
right,
Because no matter
right.
where he moved, it was just like bubbling up.
Well, it was just like the whole thing with like when Michael Keaton wore the Batman cowl, instead of turning the head, 'cause if he turned the head, it'll just stick out. So you had to turn his body. Anthony Mackie didn't do that. He didn't have to do because it wasn't so tight. But yes, it was baggy, it wasn't form fitted. And for me, I just find it just tacky. I know it's comic book accurate, and that's where we're doing it. And I know they went white because again, comic book accurate, and they want to go like a different approach. And it says like he's more of hope and
Mhm.
that white will presents that hope. But when they changed it back to the blue for the Captain America Brave New World, I was like so happy about that because it makes more sense. And they did that in the comics too. They went blue or tactical blue because white gets dirty so easily, especially in battle. It was distracting to me. That's why it wasn't the weakest part. It was just so distracting, and it took away. And then watching the behind the scenes, I was like, I knew it. It wasn't form fitting.
I was
Uh,
personally a fan of the Isaiah Bradley tie-in. It's a deep cut, and I know some people won't
me
like
too.
that, but once you know the deep cut, I think it's actually a really good tie-in. When it was around that time when it got released, a lot of people were like, "It's too woke" or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because of that tie-in, I remember when they first made Sam Wilson in the comics, and it was very open that a lot of people had issues, and they even wrote it into the stories of his comics, like, "You're not my Captain America," that kinda situation.
Right. Well, of course, because he's black for one.
Yeah, very much so.
If he was white, when Bucky had it, he was white and a different costume altogether, developed by renowned artist Alex Ross, because it had like a little shine to it, like kind of like
Mhm.
a Tony Stark, Iron Man mod suit. Yeah, no one had a problem with that. It's sad. But they say here, yeah, you're not my Captain America. It says, but I am, pretty much. And I like that when they at the end, and because usually it says at the end is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Falcon disappears and then Captain America.
Yeah.
And then that's a nice
That's a
that
nice
was
touch,
really
yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
For the most part, the weak moments is just a little bit of pacing. The overall show is good. It's just that because some of the episodes seem a little bit drawn out, or they hang out on trying to explain like the background things that are happening, like with the farm boat and stuff like that. It
Right.
makes it feel longer than it really is.
True. I mean, granted, I guess they needed that though to help us understand, like in the sense of the struggles they're going through and why.
Yeah.
Again, they were gone for 5 years, so they're catching up and they're trying to do the best with what they got. Val was awesome, great character, great
Mhm.
actress,
He's like, you can call me Val, but if you ever say that, I'll probably kill you.
ideal casting. It was really well done in the sense how they brought it. They knocked us out of the park. They had to because WandaVision, even though a lot of people liked that show, a lot of people didn't.
True. I
I'm
mean,
one of them.
they only had 3 shows in the lineup at that time. It was WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, then followed by Loki.
Right. And then Loki just shook the world.
At least it did for us.
Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, it is still scored at 85% by the critics and 81% by the audience. Where do you see that?
I'm with the critics, like 85, 86. Still a really good show.
Yeah, I'm going to try to watch it again prior to the premiere of Thunderbolts. I'm going to try to watch the whole season. And I hope they bring a season 2. I know it's just pretty much a one and done season,
Mhm.
but I hope down the line there'll be a season 2. Granted, it won't be a season 2. It'll probably be another season 1 because it'll be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Well, it may not be with the Winter Soldier. It may be with the Falcon or like something else. Because remember, after
Oh,
his
that's right.
world, there's been a lot of changes.
That's right. But we'll see. We'll see, and then we'll see what Thunderbolts do. This to me is still worth a watch. You watched it 3 times already. I've watched it twice. I'm gonna watch it again. So, I mean, it is worth the watch. Worth the own? No.
I mean, we got Disney Plus, but if Disney went under for whatever reason, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Because behind the scenes stuff, they must have it, and or the commentary
Yeah,
will be phenomenal.
Anthony Mackie's commentary, hilarious.
All right, guys, that is our marvelous review of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, currently streaming on Disney Plus. Have you seen it? What was your favorite moment? Who was your favorite character? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Until next time, we'll be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm a Don.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.